and gentlemen, welcome back to today's show, and today we got to talk about Gina Haspel. What I keep thinking of her is, and she, by the way, totally looks like someone from the TV shows who appears all nice, but then you could totally picture her in this, outside of a room with a two-way mirrors, finish him, or something like that. So yeah. Just over a year after the September 11 attacks, the CIA dispatched veteran clandestine officer Gina Haspel to oversee a secret prison in Thailand. That's fun. So, in May 2013, the Washington Post's Greg Miller reported that the head of the CIA's clandestine service was being shifted out of that position as a result of a management shakeup by then-director John Brennan. As Miller documented, this official, whom the paper did not name because a covert agent at the time, was centrally involved in the worst abuses of the CIA's Bush-era torture regime. So as Miller put it, she was involved. She was, quote, directly involved in the controversial interrogation program and had an extensive role, in torturing devices. Even more troubling, she had run a secret prison in Thailand, part of the CIA's network of black sites, where two detainees were subjected to waterboarding, which is illegal torture, which is very, very bad stuff. Or if it's not illegal, it's pretty, it's pretty much on the borderline, if not, for some people, is illegal. The Senate Intelligence Committee's report on torture also detailed the central role she played in the particularly gruesome torture of detainee by the name of Abu Zubaydah, I think. So I believe he lost his left eye at the time. Representatives from the media, non-governmental organizations, and academia were permitted to view the unclassified opening portion of a hearing from a conference room at the Pentagon, but the segment does not include any statement or comments from the defense or from the detainee when they decided to do this torture. A month-long interrogation on the CIA black site out there in Thailand. The first time enhanced interrogation texts were approved by the Bush administration were used actually on the detainee. So, what a reservist saw Tuesday was a well-groomed, youthful 45-year-old dressed in white and wearing a black eye patch around his neck, switched out between two pairs of eyeglasses. He switched between two pairs of eyeglasses to follow documents being read out loud by a translator. He was accompanied by two military personnel representatives who spoke on his behalf, but he did not have a private attorney. Abu Zubaydah, a Palestinian whose real name is Zain al-Abidin Muhammad, he was captured in a raid in Pakistan, suffering several bullet wounds. Most notably, he was waterboarded 83 times, and these are the real details here that I want to get to. He spent a total of 266 hours, 11 days and 2 hours, in a large coffin-sized confinement box, and 29 days in a 29 hours in a small confinement box with a width of 21 inches and a depth of 2.5 feet and a height of 2.5 feet, according to the Senate torture report. The CIA interrogators told Abu Zubaydah the only way he would leave the facility was in the coffin-shaped confinement box. So that's great stuff. So the Tuesday review board was hearing a first opportunity for a possible release. The government opposes the release, and an unnamed official reading his detainee profile at the review alleged his participation or knowledge in the embassy bombings of Kenya and Tanzania in 1998, and the U.S. Cole bombing of 2000, and involvement of the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's plans to attack the U.S. and coalition forces after 9/11, among other plots. So, yeah. Yet, the official stated, though, here's the thing. He had shown a high-level cooperation with the staff at Guantanamo Bay and had served as a cell block leader, assuming responsibility for communicating detainees' messages and grievances to the staff and maintaining order among the detainees. So he's pretty much a model prisoner there at that time. So there's a lot of stuff he was allegedly doing. And Gina Haspel took it to another level, putting him in a box the size of a coffin, just big enough for him to fit. And apparently, she was named Cat Eye, and she began her deep involvement in the agency's counterterrorism operations and showed her willingness to take part in the agency's rendition, detention, and interrogation program. So She was a rising star until the dark chapter in CIA history began to publicly emerge. But under Trump, her fortune changed, and now she was head of the CIA. She was not really going anywhere before this. It's important to realize, she put confinements in boxes. Those were all used. Sleep deprivation, waterboarding, all very much torture. Her nomination is certain to reignite the renting debate over the use of the resulting physiological damage for terrorism suspects. Lawmakers, human rights activists, and others eventually condemned the interrogations methods as tortures, but the program had its defenders. Now, one of those, of course, was Mr. Trump. So he decided to bring that back. Robert Edinger said of the CIA Counterterrorism Center, he's a lawyer there, said, "I don't envy her trying to get through the confirmation. It's going to be the first chance for senators to have someone intimately involved with the program in front of them to answer questions. I think they'll take full advantage of that opportunity." Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that. Because, I don't know how many of them really care. Sure, there are going to be progressive ones. They're going to be half the Democrats are probably going to be like, "What the hell were you doing, woman? Why were you putting people in small coffins?" People like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, like Kirsten Gillibrand. But, you think Adam Schiff's going to be like, or Nancy Pelosi going to be like, "Oh, what were you thinking?" And all those people in the Tea Party, the people maybe Rand Paul care a little bit, but you think Lindsey Graham is going to be like, outrageously mad at this guy, at this girl who put people in coffin-sized boxes? No. There will be no retribution for that at all. It's just not going to happen. I'm so sorry to report. Senators were deeply critical of the interrogation program could stand in Haspel's way. So Dan Feinstein, being strong for once in her life, oversaw the investigation into the program. The resulting 2014 report found the program was deeply flawed and those involved portrayed it as more effective than it was, misleading policymakers. The extent of Haspel's role in the program is not known. Only the report executive's summary was released. And it obscured the identities of agency operatives, and she was one of the people who secured that spot. But Feinstein has remained silent, though, on whether she would block Haspel's nomination. Let's hope she blocks that nomination. She has been, I believe, a good deputy director. She has the confidence of the agency, which is good. Of course, she has the confidence of the agency. She was their number one top dog in this department. She was someone who just rolled with the whatever they asked her to do for quite a long period of time, actually. That's the key part. That's the true thing worth taking into account here. And when you look at that, you're just like, "Ooh, not fun." John McCain wrote, "The torture of detainees in U.S. custody during the last decade was one of the darkest chapters in American history. The Senate must do its job in scrutinizing the record and involvement of Gina Haspel in this disgraceful program." So it looks like it's a strong step for him in the right direction. She was also embroiled in another dark episode in the CIA's interrogation program. Jose Rodriguez, head of the agency's clandestine services in 2005, ordered the destruction of videotapes of the waterboarding sessions, and Haspel, serving then as Rodriguez's chief of staff, was a strong advocate for getting rid of the tapes, former CIA officers said. Years later, though, when CIA wanted to name Ms. Haspel to run clandestine operations, Feinstein blocked the promotion over Ms. Haspel's role in the interrogation program and her destruction of the tapes. So, if we name her head of clandestine operations, which is her reasoning, Feinstein's, she will go back to do exactly what we just told her not to do. She has a really, 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 really bad history with this. All right, so Amy Jeffries, who is a national security aide to former Attorney General Eric Holder, defended her, because of course she did. She'll be criticized for her role in the interrogation program. My experience with from working with her is that she has learned those mistakes and will be a thoughtful and conscientious leader in the CIA. So we are so grateful for your opinion there. We really value it as the American people. All right, thank you. Yeah, pretty much the important thing is she's a big time, and I hate to use this word, it's becoming kind of a cliche at this point, based on how much I'm using it. She's a big torture queen, and it's becoming a little bit scary to think that she may be in our White House pretty darn soon. So, anyway, yeah, it is definitely a little bit worrying. So, yeah, we will look into that. So now it's time to check in on one last thing before we go, and that is, in fact, the House election going on right now in Pennsylvania, House race. It's too close to call at this point. In a district won by 20 points by Donald Trump, the race between Connor Lamb and Rick Saccone, Connor the Democrat and Rick the Republican. Rick is defending the taxpayer, it says on the side, so it must be true. The Democrat and Republican in a special House election in the heart of Pennsylvania's Trump country were divided by a few hundred votes in a race that was too close to call early Wednesday, an ominous sign for the Republicans in a district that Donald J. Trump won by nearly 20 percentage points. With 100% of the votes counted, Connor Lamb was clinging to a 641 vote lead over Rick Saccone, the Republican. But one county in the four-county district had not yet counted its absentee ballots, so no winner has been declared as of Wednesday morning. And it's probably going to be pretty likely that as soon as we get off the air, they're probably going to declare a winner, which will be funny. Taking the stage to applause, though, Lamb, introduced as Congressman-elect, exulted. It took a little longer than we thought, but we did it. So he's pretty much coming out and claiming victory at this point. It's a little bit of a dangerous thing. If it were me, and by the way, I'm no expert on these things, I was like, it's time to go to bed. We'll fix this out in the morning, because it'll look very bad for you in possible legal battles. And by the way, Rick Saccone is also thinking apparently about challenging the vote, so no winner's been declared yet. This is not official that we have this situation here. And House Republicans, they did not wait for a final vote count to claim. House Democrats did not wait for a final vote count to claim victory. And House Republicans are already talking about a legal challenge. Under Pennsylvania law, there's no automatic recount in such a state, no matter how close. But no matter the final outcome, Lamb's strong showing demonstrated that the Trump-inspired energy propelling Democrats across the country is not confined to liberal-leaning regions. Republicans were left with the prospect of defining a broader range of districts this fall than they had hoped. A first-time candidate and former Marine, Connor Lamb, forced Republicans to pour over $10 million into a southwestern district where Democrats did not even field a candidate in the past two congressional elections. Yet whoever wins here, they may not hold the seat for very long. The state Supreme Court ruled in January that Pennsylvania's House map was gerrymandered unlawfully and redrew congressional boundaries that may cause either candidate to run in a new district in November. So it's not going to be around for a long time, but this is most importantly a bellwether of how things stand in the deepest parts of Trump country. Yeah, so the contrast evolved into a test for both parties here. Republicans scrambled to prop up Saccone, a 6-year-old state representative, mindful that a failure here could send signals well beyond Pittsburgh, and that's kind of the whole point, the whole quote. I mean, the Democrats' future also is not with, it's not with the Democrats like Connor Lamb. Let's just put it that way, because when you get people like Connor Lamb, most often you get losing.